A huge big welcome to the Maltese Tourism Authority, and with me today we have Natalie and Peter. I'm going to actually start with Natalie and introduce Natalie Swinburne, and Natalie is the Marketing and Trade Manager for the Maltese Tourism Authority, and Natalie is going to take it away and say a few words about herself and then introduce the newest member of the team, Peter.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We can't wait until we can all see you, not virtually and in person, but for now it's great to see you in this manner and with ITTN. I'm the Trade Marketing Manager and I've been with Malta coming up to 4 years now, which is great. And I've seen kind of the evolution of us and encouraging more tourists to travel from Ireland. So we actually encouraged from 2010, 25,000 tourists, and it's gone up to 53,000. So you can really see that growth there, which is really incredible. And we really value the trade in Ireland. And Peter has just come on board as our new trade trainer, which we're really excited about. So you'll be seeing a lot more of him over the next few months. I'll hand over to Peter also to introduce himself.
Thanks, Natalie. I am Peter Green. I am the new trade trainer for Visit Malta and the Malta Tourism Authority. My background is I actually used to be a Thomas Cook retail agent, both up in Aberdeen and in Derby. While I was there, I was the cruise champion and the product champion for my store in my regions. I then migrated and moved into the Thomas Cook head office, where I looked after North Africa and Malta as a destination. So working with the hoteliers and really promoting Malta from that point of view. Obviously, with the pandemic that went on, I then moved into a small tour operator looking after small ship cruising, which included Malta as a port of call. So still really keeping that message of Malta as a destination, a fabulous place to go. And then, yeah, luckily enough, in the past couple of months, I was lucky to join the amazing team here. And my new role will be coming out and training agents and everyone on the fabulous things that there are to do in Malta. So yeah, really looking forward to, being in this role, and certainly for the next few months, getting back out and seeing all the friendly faces of all the agents.
Just in terms of us getting back out to Malta, I suppose the question on everybody's mind at the moment is vaccinations. And when we arrive in Malta, will everybody on the island be vaccinated, and will you require vaccinations from tourists coming into Malta?
Yeah, so there's a few points that I'll take you through and then answer the questions as well. So in terms of Malta as a destination, there is a great rate of distribution and uptake in the vaccinations. It's a relatively similar rate of infections as well as recoveries over the last 7 days, which is a real true testament to the fabulous work being done by the healthcare professionals out there. As it currently stands, 86% of the vulnerable people have had their first doses. 3/4 of the over 60s have received their first doses as well. And we're now at the stage that 50 to 60-year-olds are being invited to make their appointments to receive those doses. And actually, as of today, we've had 254,000 people who have received their first dose, which is actually over half of the population. And over the weekend, Malta reached its EU vaccination targets well ahead of the recommended timeframes. So based on the current rate and uptake, we're expecting that all adults will have received their first doses within the next 12 weeks. But obviously there is outside influences and factors that could potentially affect this. But even without that, that's still an absolutely big win for the country and really reboosting their kind of tourism. Currently, the plan is that there still will be a traffic light system, similar to what we've kind of seen being put in place around the world. You've got those red countries where only those who have had both vaccinations at least 2 weeks prior to departure can enter the country. And then you've got those amber countries as well, where vaccinated individuals, again, both doses 2 weeks prior. For those that haven't been vaccinated or cannot be vaccinated for health reasons, then a negative PCR test is required within 72 hours prior to your arrival. But as it currently stands from a Maltese perspective, Ireland will be on the countries on the amber list. So the aforementioned stipulations of, either both doses or the negative PCR test 72 hours prior will apply. But this is also dependent on the Irish government as well and their plans for allowing the outgoing tourism as well. So I'm sure we'll see that coming through probably in the next maybe couple of weeks to maybe a month, and then hopefully those will align very nicely to allow the restart of tourism.
So in terms of getting people back, what's the strategy? Maybe I'll pass this to you, Natalie. What's the strategy for 2021, or the key focuses maybe for the year?
Yeah, so you'll see our strapline that's actually behind Peter. So we are inviting travellers to come to Malta, to feel free again, and to kind of put the last year behind them and behind us. We've got 3 kind of key audiences, the first being sun and culture lovers. And actually 57% of the Irish travellers from 2019 travelled for that motivation. So you can see that's a big draw from Ireland. And then we have our adventure seekers. We're constantly voted the second best dive destination in the world and the first in Europe. So that's always a big draw. We've got a very topographical landscape, which is great for mountain biking, quad biking, trail running. And then we have the warm waters, which is great for all of the water sports and lovely to warm up after it seems like a very long year. And then our third one is slow explorers. So we're inviting people to spend longer in destination to really immerse themselves in the culture, whether it's the gastronomy. We've got 3 new Michelin star restaurants as well. So really to take their time, as much as we were previously promoting kind of the 3-night stays, we're now inviting people to come, spend longer in destination and really rest and unwind after such a turbulent year.
What's the key message for Malta at the moment?
I think we definitely appeal to everyone. And I think a big kind of hurdle we've tried to overcome in the past is being seen as a retiree destination. We do, cater to that demographic, and Peter will run through a bit more of that kind of later in the conversation. But we do offer, great opportunities for couples, families, LGBT, friends. So really everyone. I think Malta definitely packs a punch with being such a small island. From the 7,000 years of history, over 300 days of sunshine, the huge events calendar that we have. So there's definitely lots to see and do, and year round, which is great. So although we are kind of entering the season a bit later this year, at least Malta is year round, so people can continue to visit in the autumn and winter too.
So tell us, how are we going to encourage travel agents to get Malta back on the books?
So in light of the kind of restrictions there to travel that probably will be in place for certainly the first part of the tourism season that we see coming back in, we envision that the first to travel will be the over 50s from Ireland. This will be based on the fact that they're probably going to be the ones who have had both doses by the time it comes to the summer period. So with this, we've actually designed an over 50s course on our wonderful Malta training platform. So this course has all the information for all agents that they can use to really recommend Malta as a destination to that demographic. It contains 6 modules, which includes specific lessons on the Maltese gastronomy scene, which we've already discussed on, which, again, with those Michelin star restaurants. Alongside that, there's a lesson on the activities, which Natalie has touched on for the over 50s, which includes your hiking trails up in the north of the island, as well as the island of Gozo, which is home to the famous Gozitan vineyards. And, touching on to the wine, that's a really, truly unique experience because Maltese wine is very rarely exported. So that's something that you can really recommend. Of the 6 lessons overall, we've also got resorts that they can recommend or where to stay on the island. We've got some recommended events for that demographic as well. So some of the top ones we think would be quite good for them that we'll certainly go into later in the year. And then we actually conclude the module with a lesson surrounding a recommended 7-day itinerary for those customers where they can get out, they can explore, they can immerse themselves in everything that the stunning archipelago has to offer. And then complementary to this, we've also added on almost a recommended 3-day Gozo itinerary for those that do want to stay a little bit longer and maybe just extend their stay and maybe do something that's a little bit different. So, it really has got all the information in there. And on top of that, on the platform, we also have social media assets, imagery, videos, etc., that the agents can use to really sell the destination for that key demographic.
And in terms of incentivizing their agents, is there anything in place at the moment?
What we've got at the moment in terms of the Malta training platform is for agents who do this course, we've actually curated 10 goodie bags. So you're in the chance to win one of those 10s, and they are Maltese gastronomic themed. So in there, there's, wine, there's honey, there's types of cheeses, there's everything that's Malta's really famous for, and it's going to really bring the flavors and the essence of Malta to life for those agents. So once they've completed it, if they are lucky enough to win, they can then take those experiences that they have with the food and then really sell that to their customers as well. On top of that, utilizing that and complementing that with the other information from there, such as the activities and the events, and bringing it all together to really sell that package for their customers.
If I wanted to go to Malta, say for example in July for a week, where would you tell me to go? Where am I going? Tell me.
As Natalie's already touched on, there is literally something for everyone on the island. So, if that question was being asked, where can you recommend? And it's really going to be down to finding out what is your motivations for going? Are you wanting to get out and about and explore? In which case, we can recommend somewhere like parts of St. Julian's and Sliema and Valletta, which have good access to public transport, so you can get out and explore the island and see other parts of, maybe the old capital of Medina, or maybe you want to go down south to the old fishing village of Marshallot. If you were looking for something that was maybe a little bit more quieter, with a little bit of, maybe a bit of beach and a bit of sun, but still having that little bit of culture, then you can be up in the north of the island and you can do Melia up there, which has got the walking trails. You've got the old watchtowers along the north, which has been used, for centuries, including up into the World War II. If you really wanted to just rest and rejuvenate and be away from the hustle and bustle of everything, you can actually stay on Gozo as well. Within that, you've got the historical sites of the Gigantia temples, you've got those vineyards that we've mentioned, you've got, again, those clifftop panoramic walks. And if you wanted to be right in the hustle and bustle of things, if you wanted to see the art, the culture, experience the hospitality of the Maltese people, then you can stay in Valletta itself. Valletta has over 320 attractions. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site in itself. It's got the world's only signed Caravaggio painting in St. John's Coast Cathedral. It's got something for everyone. So, it's a really difficult question to answer depending on how you want to do it. But again, there's so many different parts of the island that really make up a unique holiday for absolutely everyone.
Because the islands are so small, Peter's named kind of an array of different experiences you can have and places you can visit, but you can actually do that whether it's within a few days or whether it's a week or 10 days, because the compact size from one side of Malta to the other, if you travel by car and there's no traffic, can take an hour. So you can really kind of see a lot of the sites, and the ferry from Malta to Gozo is just 25 minutes. So I think with the islands being very small, you can see so much in a trip. So all that Peter mentioned, kind of people might think, oh, that's a lot to fit into a trip, but with the island so small, you can really, tick a lot off your bucket list that you've been waiting to, especially with no travel last year. So I think it's a great destination to experience a lot.
Do you guys have a message for the industry here?
I think the biggest kind of statement, especially from myself coming into this business, is that, I am here for you, whether you're a home worker or whether you're a frontline agent. As an ex-agent myself, I couldn't even begin to imagine how difficult the last 14 months have been for all those involved. And in order to help rebuild, here at MTA, we'll support in any way that we can, but also on my point of view, I'm here to help train, support agents, to enable them to secure, the bookings that we much want and much need at the moment. Alongside this, as I've already mentioned, we can support with imagery, with content for your social media pages to help entice customers to your business. And if you have any questions or require any help in any shape or form, then for me, like, my door's always open, whether it's, you want to have a wee chat over the phone, or if you want to send me an email, and I'll answer, honestly and in full wherever I can. Obviously, we want Malta to excel as a tourist destination, but it can do that in its own right, given the wide array of experiences which we've already touched on and its unique touristic offerings. But what we want is that agents feel comfortable in reaching out to us and using us to support them in any of the requirements surrounding the Maltese Islands. And it's just really, that's probably one of the key messages.
As soon as people are able to travel, I think travel agents, us, you, I think we'll all be busier than we ever have. So I think, although it's been such a quiet year, I think we're all going to be extremely busy when everyone wants to go, even anecdotally, talking to friends, family, and also through the industry, everyone is keen to travel, and we're kind of the ones who can make that happen. So I think travel agents, to us, they're very valued, and yourselves. So I think it's really nice that we've been able to all work together, pull together over the last year, and we can continue to do so to make people enjoy their holidays and kind of escape the last couple of months and year.
Well, listen, guys, from all of us here at the ITTM, we're absolutely delighted to chat with you today. And I'm sure the agents of Ireland are going to get right behind you and get those 53,000 people back in Malta ASAP. So thank you for joining me today, and we look forward to seeing you here on the ground very soon.